Hey, what's up, you awesome dudes? We're back in Anthem with some more awesome news, and of course, BioWare just finished wrapping up their latest livestream about the Cataclysm event, and there's been a lot of info and details being showcased. Of course, we have a lot of stuff that gets me hopeful about the future of this game, but also some stuff that gets me a little bit worried. So let's dive right into it, because there's quite a lot of stuff to talk about, including of course the main Cataclysm event itself, brand new areas, new missions, new events, new items, including melee weapons for each javelin that you can switch between, and of course there's also been talks about the loot system and rewards in general. It seems that BioWare is searching for new and better ways to reward players for their time, and yeah, even the PTS is going to drop sometimes next week. So let's start things off with everything that has been talked about, starting of course with the Cataclysm event, which is the main event. So the Cataclysm event is going to be 8 weeks long. The first 2 weeks is going to be centered around some pre-events and missions as well as challenges. This is also going to have some lore attached to it, and it will give us a better understanding about what is happening in the world and why it is changing. And after that, 6 weeks of the full Cataclysm event will follow, when we will get to explore a brand new area, do new events, and earn new rewards. Of course, also encounter a new boss. But as I've said, this is why it's getting me a little bit worried. It's because it only lasts for a short period of time, after which it ends. I really wish these were a little bit more permanent, but at some point I believe these will be recurring, and probably BioWare will bring them back in the game. But nonetheless, let's go back to the Cataclysm event and what it contains. As I've said, starting things off, there's going to be a brand new area we get to explore. This is going to be in those 6 weeks after the pre-events have finished. Now inside the brand new area, it's where we will be basically in the middle of the Cataclysm itself. There's going to be storms going on, trees being blown, and a whole lot of cataclysmic events. And also around the map there's going to be a number of arenas being scattered, and it seems that these are important because this is where we will spend most of our time in and what we will want to do in this specific map region. So these areas will be populated with a whole range of enemies that we need to take down, and as we take down these enemies, complete the events in them and the puzzles, clearing them up will make them as safe zones. And why are these safe zones so important? Well, because exiting your safe zone will actually put you in danger. You will be exposed to the cataclysm, and you will even have a UI element indicating your resistance to that cataclysm, and that goes down over time. As it goes down over time and eventually reaches 0, you will start getting damaged to the point, well, you will get downed, and that is obviously not something that you want, because you will be spawned back to your previous safe area. So obviously, if you want to move through the map, you will need to clear up these arenas, make them as safe points so you can move forward for that. Now inside this area you will also see a multiplier on the right side of your screen, and this plays a huge role because that is how you will earn a new form of currency. The more you clear up these events, the more you clear up these arenas and eventually fight with the main boss, which is Vera. You probably already know it from the previous data mine video that I made earlier today. You will get multipliers, which in turn will give you more currency, and this currency is important because eventually you will go back to Fort Tarsis and use it to purchase, well, some war chests which contain the new items. It's essentially like loot chests, except it's for in-game items, and they also don't cost money. Again, another worry on my part, because they are still kinda RNG, but you know, at the very least, if they drop new items, I'm okay with that, though the RNG part of it is getting me a little bit worried and stepping a little bit on my nerves. Nonetheless, there's going to be a lot of tricks in order to complete these in quick succession, so you can earn as many multipliers as possible, and eventually if you go to the end boss, that boss will double your already existing multiplier. So fighting with the Vera, the last boss, not only will it give you its set of rewards, but also double your multiplier, which in turn means that you will get more currency, which can further use in Fort Tarsis for more of those war chests. So it all sounds kind of simple when you break it down, but again, there's going to be certain paths that are better than others. There's going to be arenas being revealed each week. Some of them will change over time and new ones will be revealed, so it's all going to change on a weekly basis. How that will happen we will see in game, but from the looks of it, it seems that this might drop as late as July, or at least the full Cataclysm event will drop as late as July. We will first have the private test server, which is going to drop next week, and we will be able to test things in advance over there. But again, on the live servers themselves, only after it's being finished and finalized on the PTS, only after that will it drop on the main servers. So that is why I'm saying that it might take a little bit of time for it to reach the live servers. Now, of course, this is not the only thing that will make these events interesting. It seems that BioWare is adding a brand new system of scoring and leaderboards where you can pretty much compete with other people. What I did find particularly interesting is the inversion mechanic. So what inversion does is it basically adds a random, very powerful buff once a week. Sometimes these inversions might give all of the players a way to spam their abilities, which sounds really nice, or just increase weapon damage overall, and it all sounds really exciting. I really like these types of buffs. It adds a little bit of randomness, and it also gives you a better way at clearing out these enemies. But as I've said, you're probably interested in the loot system and the new items, so let's talk about that. And going over the loot itself, this has been addressed. Finally, there was an answer by BioWare in their live stream about the loot, and we have of course some new weapons. We already knew about many of these as they have been data mined, and it seems that many of these rewards will drop from the Cataclysm event. There's going to be some new masterwork and legendary gear, including of course support gear, which is probably the only slot that currently doesn't have anything above epic. But what I did find the most interesting is the new equipable melee slot. So one example was given, and if you're a ranger, you're probably going to love this change. So currently the ranger has the electric hammer, which only primes targets for detonations. Maybe you don't like that and would better see something like a detonator in your melee slot, as all of the other javelins have. Well, with the new update, you will be able to switch between maces and get one that actually detonates the targets, not just primes them, and I believe these types of switches can be done on all of the other javelins as well. So some really interesting details, I cannot wait to see them. This doesn't mean that there's going to be new types of melee weapons. So for example, you're not going to be able to equip a sword on your ranger instead of the mace, and the same goes for all of the other javelins. The theme is still going to be the same. You're still going to use the same type of weapon. It's just that their effects and procs and abilities will be different depending on what drops for you. But along with these, there's also going to be a brand new item level. Of course, 5 item level higher than the current one we have in the game, but this is going to be for the items that drop in the Cataclysm event itself. Again, this is another concern on my part because I don't think just increasing the item level even more will fix anything. At some point they really need to come up with a better solution at balancing content around. Nonetheless, still on the subject of loot, there's going to be some rebalancing on GM3. This means that some of the items will get massively buffed, but others might also get nerfed. Along with that, the luck stat is also going to get completely removed, and after the update, all of the players in the game will have the maximum available luck, as if they had a full luck gear. So it was 190, and after the new update everybody will have 190 luck, so they get better chances at better loot in higher difficulties. Instead, all of the gear that previously had luck on them will now feature just increased armor. So take it as you will, but I see this as a good change. The luck stat really needed to go, and I'm glad they are pushing with that. Now finally, I also want to talk about the private test server, and this seems to be dropping sometimes next week. This is also the time when we should expect the new pre-events to drop, also on the private test server itself. And the way it's set up is that if you own it on PC, as this is only for the PC users, if you have it on Origin, you will have a separate client you can download, and you will get this automatically if you own Anthem. It's super easy, but you will need additional space to install it. It's pretty much like how Division 2 does it. It's going to have its distinct patch notes and update cycles, and everything that is being added is going to go there first, and only after everything has been properly tested will it go to the live servers. But from what has been talked about in the live stream, it seems that it's not going to be 24/7. There's going to be designated time windows when the private test server will be up. So for example, during a week it might be up for 2 days, or at certain hours. Only then will you be able to log in, test things out, see the new changes. This has been basically the Cataclysm event. It looks exciting, but there's also some reservations that I'm still keeping. I cannot wait to see what it is. I cannot wait to test out everything that has been shown, and tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Are you excited about the new stuff about the Cataclysm event? Go ahead, post down below, and in the meantime, you know what to do. A thumbs up and a subscribe would be super appreciated, and I will see you guys next time, so peace out.